Hello. So, before I even start today, I have to say a massive thank you to every single one of you collaborators who's taken part in the project, to people who have purchased the kit, to people who have followed along, made videos, posted on Facebook, posted on social media, on Instagram, and the amount of messages I've had to say how much people have enjoyed this project. I've never had a project like it. I've never done anything that has been this successful, and I am absolutely thrilled. I'm humbled and I'm completely overwhelmed. So I need to say a huge thank you. Second of all, we have had two rather difficult weeks in terms of we had several things happen, but we're now at the end of it. We kind of finally finished everything yesterday. I have a lot of catching up to do for my projects, as well as watching YouTube videos and things like that. And thirdly, I cannot tell you how gutted I am that I am the last person to film, and I had such big plans for what I was going to do for this project. My intention was I was going to follow along the makers and people who were contributing. I was going to use their ideas, create a video which was kind of like a round robin at the end. And that didn't really work because of everything we have been doing over the last 2 weeks. Now, this is the project I have done. I am putting this project out late, and the reason for that is my project was a complete disaster. Please don't follow along because nothing worked, and it has done that. Okay, so I have to come up with a resolution for this, and I am going to create something, and it's going to be influenced by lots of the makes that have been taken place this month. I wanted to make it simple enough so people could follow along. And of course, it's the last day. I had to do a freebie. So there is a freebie for this. So here we go. The freebie is on our website in the members area. The link for our website is in the description box. You will need to sign up. It's completely free, doesn't cost you anything. You sign up, you will get an email, there will be a password. You can log into the members area, go to the 2024 section, and Craftly Haul freebies are all there. You will find them. Now, there is a frequently asked questions that you will need to refer to if you have any issues. Please do that before you come to us. We cannot help with security issues on your device. It's just not something we're able to do. I am not going to show you the freebie just yet. I'm going to explain what I've done because I had to do this yesterday to prepare for today. So I found myself a little book. It's just a little book. And what I did was I'd already taken the cover off this. It was a book that I'd managed to get the book block out on its own. You don't have to worry if you don't have something like this. You can literally make a small signature. It will be fine. This was part of the idea from Angie's make, and what I did was I took a little bit of the book. I didn't take too many pages. Took my craft knife, opened that up as wide as I could, and just ran that down. So basically, I ended up with a few book pages together. Then what I did was once I'd got this, I kept the front page, and then every other 2 pages I glued together. And the last page again, I didn't glue. But then what I did was I gessoed all of the pages. Finally, what I did was I took a strip of white cotton. This was the last thing I did last night. Took a strip of white cotton, glued it to the spine, and then clipped it all down just to make sure that was well held. You can see a little bit where the glue has come through, but we've now got a little bit here and a little bit here. That's flappy. Now that's not gessoed because that's going to be glued down. So I could just literally have these double pages that are gessoed. So there we go. Obviously you could use plain paper. You don't have to use a book page. You don't have to go through what I've gone through. So what did I do next? I cut myself 2 pieces of board, just backing board from an old scrapbook, an old sketchbook, and I've cut it the same size as my pages. There's no point me telling you how big this is because your book might be a little bit different. And then what I did this is the book cover from the Crime Casebook A4. I printed this at 60% and I was extremely lucky that it kind of fit just about onto this book board. So I've already done one in advance, which is here. This is the back. So that's going to be my back cover. And this one is going to be the front cover. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a really good amount of glue down on here. Let's just burnish that down. And I cannot believe how close this was. I just wanted this to look like a little notebook that Rose had kept. Okay, so there we have the front cover and the back cover, and what's going to happen is I'm going to glue this to my page, and then I'm going to glue the cover to that front page. I'm just going to glue, what should I use? Yeah, I think I'm going to use this. So I'm going to glue this down to my book now. Right, so that's my little book block, kind of good to go. Okay, so that's my covers ready to go onto here. I also need to ink down here because that's going to show. So the whole point of this book is to kind of reflect the last part of the story, which is where, you know, the seance has taken place. They have communicated with the old reverend from Craftley Hall, and they have decided that they are going to rebuild the chapel. They are going to put a plaque in place in commemoration of the people that had passed there from the plague and since then. So the card for today is they would construct a new chapel with a plaque to remember those who had passed. So obviously this is going to be quite a prominent part of the book. So today's element was this tag, the little card, and this file folder. So what I've done is I've selected two other file folders. This one will go at the back because I wanted 3 tabs. So just so you know, that's what we're using. And in the freebie, we have the plans for the new chapel. And there are a couple of inside views too. We have a little tag. We have the plaque that says dedication to all those who came before. Photograph of the chapel inside and out. We have 2 little photographs of the grave sides after Rose had done her planting and made it look all beautiful. And then we have a colour photograph of Craftley Hall. So these are the freebies. There's quite a few. And this is, I think, the most important part. Obviously, this was part of the actual day. So we have the plan of Craftley Hall Chapel. I love it. So I think what I might do is leave this page blank, and I'll turn to what would be my second page because we want to cover up this. And I'm going to just fold. Oh, that's almost right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold from the top. You will have to obviously decide how you're going to add your chapel plan. I'm going to fold mine how it would fit best. I'm going to fold it about there. I'm going to have a tiny little extra piece, but there's nothing major along there, so I'm going to cut that off. So I'm going to obviously give this a good ink, And I'm going to use my nice and dark walnut stain. Now we could have it so it opens that way, which I think is probably the best option. I'm going to glue this side so that is our map, our plans for Craftly Hall, which I love. Right, so before I go any further, what I want to do is work out where I'm going to put my file folders, because I don't want to work on pages that are going to have a file folder in. So I'm going to take my middle one and look roughly halfway, pop that in there, and then let's see how many pages there are. Right, so I'm going to put this in there. Whoops. This in there, just halving those pages that are left roughly. And that will go in there. Right, so what's going to happen is those are going to be in the book with a little overhang. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on here file 1, file 2 and file 3. I'm going to be gluing these directly on, so I'm not worried about having that, but I do want to make sure I don't use those pages for anything else. So of course, after the external images, we will be having the internal images. So we have our two little plans for the chapel. I'm just going to come back to this front page now. This probably wasn't the best idea, but I printed the last 4 pages of the story, and my plan was to put these two were going to go here. Now it's still possible to do that. I have to come up with something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these out. Okay, so I'm just trying to think of actually what I'm going to do is I still have sorry, I had to speed this up because this did not work. I tried to use the Faux Tin Type effect using the tin foil to kind of cover the page, but it looked horrendous. I'm going to carry on showing you what I did, and you can see how I rectified it at the end. So I think we can say that didn't work, but do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to add some stamping on the top of here, and possibly later we'll turn this into something else. Yes, I think I'm going to add those, but so let's just glue these into place. Okay, so it's not exactly what I was hoping for, but it's okay. Okay, so we are now working on file folder number 1. So it's going to go here. Okay, so I have a few pieces that I think are going to work on this. I've taken this piece from the ephemera. I've had to cut it down a little bit. I think it will still fit. I've taken this little image here because I think that works quite well on top of that, and I actually want to put this little mask over the top of the image. But what I wanted to do was somehow use, yes, some of my fake mica. You can use real mica or transparency. I'll link my video down below for my fake mica. So that's going to go like that. So the first thing I need to do is actually stick this piece down. Let's glue this and hope my glue will actually hold on that fake mica, because I've only sewn this before. I've not glued anything to it. Right, so I think we needed him, her, him, about there. That's going to come there. Kind of looks like rain. I've inked this already. So I think I'm going to attach the fake mica first. So I'm going to grab my hole punch and just pop a little hole through there. So I'm going to grab my split pins. Okay, so just pop that in there. So that's good. Right. Now that's there. I'm going to glue the back of my mask. Hold that in place. And then pop the mask down. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just going to sew around this little bit. There we go, I've done my stitching and the mask will slide on. I'm actually very pleased with that. That's not bad. And I think what I might actually do is if I turn this over, we've got quite a lot of stitching and things on the back here. Yeah, got a little bit of alcohol ink on my fingers there. But what we can do is we can now kind of turn this into a little tuck spot, little pocket kind of tuck spot. So I'm going to glue along the bottom. I know that I'm going to cut that thread off, I think. And the light has gone. So this will now slide out. And it is also a kind of a little pocket. So there is room to put a little tag in there. And maybe I'll sort that out. So I'm loving it. I'm loving the little pocket. I like the stitching. I think this is going to go well on that side. I'm going to sew this on. I'm going to sew around the edge. I'm going to ink it all. And then I'm literally going to glue this into place. Now, this obviously needs more work doing to it. But right now, obviously I need to concentrate on the actual pieces for today. Right, so I'm coming up with a few ideas just to finish this off. Hello, I am back. I had to do quite a lot off camera because I wasn't able to film. I have done some prepping ready to work on today's elements because I think it's important I work on today's elements. Then I'm going to go through the book and show you what I have done. Sometimes things just happen. There's nothing you can do about it. I know other people have also had some technical issues. We have also had some issues, as you probably know. But what I've done is I've used today's freebie tag and the freebie plaque, and I've just glued those together. I have backed my freebie. Okay, and this is going to go inside here. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of my faux mica and I've cut it to size. I am going to create a belly band in which this tag will just slot in because it gives it a lovely effect without having to do anything to the tag. So I'm going to sew that, and I'm also going to sew the outside of my file folder, and that will be sewn into place when I do that. So that's one thing that I will do. These are going to go here. It's kind of a little representation, a little, it's just a little gesture to Ernest Brundle, who resolved the issue. So we've got his little matchbook and we've got his business card. I'm going to kind of line those up, hold those in place, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue where I want those to stay together, like that. That's going to go here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of stitching around that. This is going to tuck into the little slot, so that's going to be when I sew those, that's how that's going to go together. Now this piece here is going to go on this page. Yep, this is going to go on this page, and again I'm going to do some sewing, but what I want to do is have these kind of higgledy-piggledy on this tag, and then this little one at the bottom is going to be a tuck spot for today's little quote. I'm going to start by putting some glue here and just gluing that piece down. So I'm going to glue most of this. I'm just going to skip those little corners, and we're going to just pop that. So this is today's tag. I'm covering that up though. So that's going to go there. What I am going to do is I'm going to sew around this tag, and I'm going to sew around this. I'm then going to glue that into place. Then I'm going to add my little bat, and then that will be a little tuck spot, like so. Right, so I'm going to go and do all my sewing, and then I'll be back to put this page together. So all of my little bits are kind of put together. So let's start with this one. So I've got the little book pocket that I want to add here. So I'm just going to glue these two edges like so. Maybe put that a little bit at the wrong angle, and I'm now going to glue my bat. I'm not going to glue everywhere, I'm just going to glue the center part. I'm going to put him there, and that is where our little tag is going to slot, and that is going to glue on to that page. Now, oops, a little bit sticky. I'm going to glue the back half of my file folder, but not the tab. So I'm going to line it up with the edge of my page, like that. Right, so now we can put this together. So that is going to slot into that faux mica belly band. Probably should have come in from that side, would have been a bit easier. This is my little tuck spot here. So I'm going to glue down this edge and along the bottom. And that's going to go here. We've got Mr. Brundle who's going to pop in there. So that will close up. There's nothing on the front. We could always add something later. Folder, and I'm wondering whether I should make this a pocket, a tuck spot, just for future. So I'm just going to glue up the edge. I will glue down that little bit there. So glue along here and along the bottom. And just hold that down. Okay, so obviously everything for me, basically for my project, relates to the construction of the new chapel, the plaque of the people that passed. So we've got the little plaque in the card. We've got a little thank you or a little reminder that we had the help from Mr. Brundle. Now, I know I'm not doing this in order, but I have my house that I have put in my frame here at the back. The book, we have our front pages, which is that this went very badly wrong. It didn't work at all, but I kind of salvaged this page by adding the flowers in the cemetery that Rose planted. Then this page, we have the plan for the chapel. So these pages, again, you saw me do these. These are the plans for the inside of the chapel. And then we have our little swing out piece with a pocket here. There's a pocket here. And we have our little file folder, which can be decorated further. This I had to do off camera. So what I did was I just cut down one of the background pages that I had printed 2 per page. We've got the chapel and the inside of the chapel. These are actual photographs that are in the freebie. And I have added some flowers to represent Rose's garden. And I've added some, this is actually real mica. So we've got some real mica over those. So that I did off camera. This page is still blank. It may be where I will actually come and add Craftly Hall, which I think is probably a very good idea. Now, obviously, everything is calmed down, so that might go in there. Here we have the second page. So what I've done is this is another little kind of reminder of the 3 psychic investigators that come along to help Mr. Brundle. I've just stitched those and glued those down. And we have a little file folder here. This is a pocket here. There's still room to do more to that. This page, I've prepped the pieces to go here. So this is going to be the flame tag and this is the arch. I'll show you why they're not yet in place, because I have added some texture paste to that and it's not dry. And here is the little arch that I've also added some texture paste to. So these will go here when they are dry. This page is blank as yet, and this is the page we have just completed. So what we are going to do now is add our covers, and this is where I am really going to hold my breath, because it could go, like most other things today, it could go very, very wrong. So we are now at the place we were at the very beginning of the video, and this is a complete disaster. So I actually have no idea how I'm going to resolve it. So for now, I'm actually going to just leave it there, because it has, it's actually really upset me, because I really wanted to end on a decent project. I'm actually happy with some of the inside, and I will come up with some kind of solution. My brain is not there at the moment. Like I said, please don't follow along, and I will come back at some point with a resolution. But I'm back. So went away, had a little cry, as you do when you're my age, and I had an idea. I don't know if this is going to work either, but I thought we would give it a go. So I've got my knife out, got my covers. I'm going to start from the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this apart, starting with that back page. So trying to stay in that crease and just taking that back page off. So I'm just looking at some of the pages, because I think the only one I'm going to have a real issue with is this one. Okay, so for now, what I'm going to do is flip this page so it's this way round. And I know it's not perfect, it's not a perfect solution, but I think if I put the holes here when I'm putting the rings in, what I can do is fold that and maybe just see where the holes are. I might have to cut a little bit out of here, and then this piece will become another fold. So I'm going to fold that like that and then in. So we've got room for our rings, and the rings can go through this image and it will flap that way. So I think that is my solution. This will have rings now and become a ring bound journal, which is not exactly what I was looking for, but I think it is kind of the best solution. And I'm going to start with the back cover because that is the clearest. Oh my days, I can't tell you how relieved I am. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but it works. So here is the finished book. Okay, we have, oh my days, for a minute I thought that was upside down. We have our little images of the graves after Rose had done her planting. We have the inside plan to the chapel that was going to be built, and then here we have the outside plan for the chapel and the inside again, so a little bit out of place. We have our little pocket with our little flip here. We have a little file folder which can still be worked on. We have our 2 images with the outside and the inside of the church once it was complete. We have blank pages, so we have our little tribute to the investigators that came along to help Mr. Brundle. We have another file folder with a pocket here. We have the 2 that still need to be glued into place when they are dry. We have Craftly Hall in all its colour and glory here. Another page that can be used. So here we have the little tag at the tuck spot with today's piece of the story, and we have the final file folder here with our little belly band and our little tribute to Mr. Brundle, and of course the binders will stay very good friends and keep in touch with him. And then we have this blank page at the end which I have not yet finished. So that is my project for today. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Sorry for being such a la-la. I'm sorry this video will be out a bit late, but it is because of my little faux pas. But thanks again to everybody. I'm still so very grateful. I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.